what type of monster you have to be to listen to your girlfriend crying and begging for 3 hours and you just don't care. You just don't give a shit. This sounds like something out of a thriller. Hello, babes. How are you doing? My name is Moran, and welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit, a lot of MID. So today, instead of having a very specific theme, we are just doing a compilation of the worst stories from March that I had saved. So I basically went through the collection that I had and picked the ones that kinda are the most shocking, the most insane, the most just unhinged. So buckle up, and without further ado, let's dive in. I found my wife's secret Google account and I'm sick to my stomach. This is from Off My Chest. I, male 36, met my wife, Bailey, female 33, 9 years ago through mutual co-workers, and we hit it off immediately. I fell absolutely head over heels with this woman. She was everything I was looking for. I had gotten out of a toxic, dare I say abusive, long-term relationship right before that with a woman Bailey has been acquainted with but not friends with. I had her blocked on everything and had no contact with her since breaking up. We got married right after the tail end of the pandemic, bought our first house together, and started trying to conceive. That was difficult because Bailey had PCOS, but last year she finally gave birth to our first daughter. I'm having a blast being a dad. It's kind of a dream come true. I finally got my happy life with my perfect wife. My perfect wife until last Monday. My laptop's battery the bed, so I opened up Bailey's work tablet with an attached keyboard. You can set it up like a monitor to check on some text stuff. She wasn't home, it was just me and the baby, but we've never asked permission to use each other's devices. We've always been open like that. There is nothing for us to hide. That's what I thought. When I opened up the internet, I noticed she had the incognito tab open. Never in a million years did I expect to discover what I did. My wife has a secret Google account with a photo album saved called XX, so I clicked on it. Did I discover an affair? Nudes? Nope. In this Google album were over 300 photos, 348 actually, of my ex, the woman I was with right before I met Bailey, the woman who tormented me and made me feel worthless. The album said it was started back right around the time Bailey and I started dating and was updated as recently as 2 weeks ago. The photos range from candid shots with family to pictures at her work functions. There were even pictures from her yearbook. I don't know how Bailey could have found her high school yearbook photos, photos from vacations, ID photos from work, pictures of her in crowds, screenshots of videos, and screen recordings of videos. Just her. The other people in the photos would be scribbled out, or the photo would be cropped and zoomed in just on my ex. There were other disturbing things I found too. There was another album with the just zoomed up pictures of my ex's hair. Come to think of it, Bailey had recently started wearing her hair different, and my ex had a very identifiable hair type. There was another album with screenshots of comments on social media. Of course, I can't find them because I have her blocked, like Facebook groups she's in and public posts, and my ex is very low-key on social media. I can't imagine the lengths Bailey went to find them. My ex literally lives in another country now. There was also different links to the exact outfits she was wearing, like very specific blouses and trousers you'd have to really go looking for to find. A specific water bottle I remembered her purchasing, and identical hiking boots and sandals. So basically, my partner of almost a decade has been single white femaling my ex-girlfriend, has recently stalked her to the point of buying her exact clothes and changing her hair, and now I'm starting to realize Bailey's new interests over the years were just my ex's. Bailey has turned herself into my ex. Everything feels like a lie. Our love feels like a lie. The things we share feel like a lie. I threw up and had a panic attack. I looked at our daughter and felt betrayed. I haven't confronted her yet. I don't know if I want to. I want to run away with our daughter. I want to print out all of her pictures, leave them on the table, and disappear. I don't know what to do. I just want to throw up. This sounds like something out of a thriller. I'm just shocked to see this happening in real life, and this is just so beyond disturbing. Finding that out about your partner when you think this is one person that you're in love with, and then you just basically find out that she's modeling herself after the ex that actually abused you. And what fascinates me about the story as well is that your partner knows that your past relationship was terrible, that your ex was terrible, that she tormented you. What would then motivate her to try to emulate this person? Are you trying to punish your husband, or is it some malicious type of thing? Why would you want to look like someone who actually caused your partner so much pain? I mean, there is a lot of inexplicable things in this one, but that is actually what bothers me on top of everything else. But yeah, I don't know how you would even deal with that. This is unhinged. She's been obsessed with your ex for 10 years to the point of gathering intel, to the point of buying the same things, doing the same hair and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a good start for our Unhinged March episode. Let's move on to the next story. Am I wrong for cheating with my 31 female sister's 32 male husband as revenge for what she did to me in high school? My sister has always had a one-sided rivalry with me. She always tried to outshine me, and she thought everything was always a competition between us. When it came to dating in high school, it was no different. If I liked a guy, my sister would do everything she could to get that guy to like her and not me. She did this with every guy I dated until she graduated from high school. She also used to body shame me in front of people, calling me a troll because I was chubby and short growing up. She would spread fake rumors about me at school, saying I still wet the bed, and even tell people my actual business, like the night I cried myself to sleep because mom called me fat. My final straw was when she was a senior and I was a sophomore, and I was careful not to tell her or make her think I liked this guy because I wanted him to take me to prom. We had dated for the first semester of school, and he was genuinely my dream boyfriend. But she had found out we were dating and she swooned him, and next thing you know, I catch him asking her to prom. And she went to prom wearing the dress I bought because without an upperclassman as my date, I couldn't go to prom. I was devastated, and I took this one really personally. We never addressed this, and she never apologized to me for what she did. When I was 25, I got a boyfriend and married him 3 years later, and when she was 28, she got married to her boyfriend of 4 years, Mark. My family had met Mark many times when him and my sister were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and he was cute, but he looked like a playboy and was a complete asshole. Over dinner, he talked about how his type was blondes, and that's why my sister is his dream girl. He straight up told me that he finds me unattractive because I'm brunette and because I'm overweight, and said he's surprised I got married because I'm not marriage material. Mind you, I was only 155 pounds. I wasn't even obese or anything. Fast forward to 2 years later, and my sister and I had gotten pregnant around the same time, me being 1 month ahead of her. She's been skinnier than me up until that point, but she started to visibly gain weight from the pregnancy. Mark was happy that she was pregnant at first, but when he noticed the weight gain, he became disinterested and started commenting on my sister's weight gain and would constantly ask her, "Did you sign up for a gym plan yet?" He wouldn't even carry heavy bags for her because it was good exercise. After I had my baby boy, I started going to the gym and lost pretty much all the weight I had gained and more. I was really proud of myself. Mark follows me on Instagram, so I would post photos of me with captions like, "Now that I've lost weight, I feel so good." Lots of before and after photos as well. Mark liked the photos and commented hearts. He texted me that night saying that him and my sister haven't been intimate for months since she's giving birth, and she's been wondering why. He told me it's because he isn't attracted to my sister's body anymore, but he doesn't know how to tell my sister. I wanted wanted to help, so I texted him that I'm always here to talk and that we could meet up so we could somehow find the best way for him to communicate this to her. My sister and her daughter were visiting mom and dad for a few days, so they weren't at home. Me and Mark were talking. He started complimenting me and said that he always had a bad impression of me because of my sister. I asked him what he meant, and he said when they first started dating, all my sister would do was tell him about how embarrassing I was and all of the secrets I had told her. She even told him about this one traumatizing situation I was in back in 6th grade. She told him that she just listened but knew I was lying because I was too ugly for anyone to want to touch me that way. I was horrified and pissed off, but I drank away the embarrassment and tried to laugh it off. Mark just kept complimenting me and got more and more touchy. I let him. We ended up having sex that night. While I was still drunk, I sent screenshots of those texts between me and Mark to my sister and a photo of me and Mark in bed. I just remember being so mad at her, and this was a chance to get back at her for years of verbal abuse, calling me fat and ugly, stealing my boyfriends, and humiliating me. I now have over 40 texts from her about how I'm a bitch and a for sleeping with her husband. She also sent these to my husband and he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. I hope you're not surprised. She said I was childish for pulling this crap and that we aren't in high school anymore. I told her that she started this in the first place and that she's only mad now because it's happening to her. I feel terrible for what I did to my husband, but I don't feel bad for what I did to my sister. At the same time, I can't act like Mark didn't treat her bad either. I'm conflicted, to be honest, and I don't know where to start or what to do. Am I wrong? Well, I feel like this is fake. If it's not, it's absolutely horrifying, and y'all are terrible people. All of y'all, except for your husband. I mean, I don't have enough information on the husband to actually judge because he was not mentioned in the story, but Mark, OP, and the sister are just all awful human beings. It's like one of those things where it's really hard to even tell which one of y'all is the worst, but yeah, you're wrong. I get it. The sister is a nightmare. She's spreading rumors about you. She stole your boyfriends. You don't seem to be able to communicate in any healthy way, even unhealthy one, to be fair. And yes, there is this deep resentment, the feeling of being betrayed, and I don't even get why she would do that to you, but some people are just mean. Nevertheless, this is not one of the situations where the reaction was somehow justified. Like the OP really tried to justify how she her sister's husband, but I'm still not buying it. Yes, she did a lot of to you, but you literally your sister's husband while knowing that they're having marital problems, while knowing your sister is struggling after childbirth, while knowing that she didn't have intimacy with him for a long time, and while being married. Like, what is this? Do you like hate your husband? Do you not care about your husband? I mean, how much do you value your relationship to throw it away just to get back at your sister? Y'all are terribly petty, and the smart guy has to be thrown away like a piece of garbage because his comments are absolutely unacceptable, very demonstrative of how he is as a person, and I'm not surprised your jerk of a sister is married to him, and I'm also not surprised, honestly, that you out of revenge because y'all all sound awful. Anyway, we have some little additions to the story. Not an update, but a lot of people are confused about the prom dress situation. On prom day, my mom didn't want my sister to spend money on another dress considering mine was so expensive, so she told her to wear mine since I wouldn't be able to go to prom anyways. Yes, it was short and it was loose, but my mom pinned the back. It still looked good. Another thing is that people are assuming that my sister only ever bullied me when we were kids, but she's bullied me even in my early 20s. It's obvious she still thinks it's okay for her to say things like that to me. Regarding my parents, they have always favored my sister. I thought it was pretty privileged, but even after I lost weight, my parents weren't even happy for me. My mom just said, "Took you long enough." Oh, y'all parents are also terrible. The only reason I haven't cut my sister off is because then my parents will cut me off and when I still wanted some advice from my mom for my son. I also just wanted her to love me. I did everything right up until that point. I was successful, I was a wife and a mother, and she still liked my sister. She did text me about what happened, and similar to what my sister said, she called me lots of terrible names. She said just because I lost weight doesn't mean I'm better than my sister, which I've never even said anything along the lines of that. I didn't respond to her text. Mini update, I texted my husband that I was sorry and to please come back home so we can talk. He left the house when he found out and he won't tell me where he's staying at. He read the text but hasn't responded yet. I hope he never will. Like, I genuinely hope your husband will just send you the divorce papers and that will be it, because hun, this is insane. What do you want to talk about? Do you think you will be able to justify it to your husband? I mean, if this is not rage bait, OP is awfully detached from reality. Like, she seems to think that the fact that the sister stole her high school boyfriend and said a bunch of mean her and, went to the prom in her prom dress somehow justifies destroying her family because of all of those things. The sister was terrible. Yes, the sister definitely deserves some consequences for what she did, but it never in a million years will justify what you did to her and especially to your husband. I don't even care if the sister and Mark will get divorced. I don't care what happens to you. I'm just very sad that your husband is stuck in this nightmare, and I really do hope he's not gonna talk to you ever again, because what is there to talk about? Okay, so the next story we have is actually from the Passport Bros. I've recently found out about this hellish corner of the internet, and this is just a small treat from there. Would World War III balance out dating globally? This might get a lot of hate/downvotes depending on your views. Long story short, I used to ride for Uber, picked up hundreds and hundreds of people, picked up multiple different older guys/gals too. Somehow, one way or another, the conversation would lead to them talking about how my old man served World War II, ended up finding a gorgeous woman from XYZ country, or got married right away at home since all the men were dying/gone. Now, to clarify, I don't want World War III to start, but if it were to happen and had the same damage as World War II, with the lower younger male population down, wouldn't it basically fix/restore dating, especially for dating as a younger man myself? What do you guys think? My dad and I had a long road trip. The conversation went on about me talking about how dating in the US just sucks right now. He even said, your generation really needs a war. I think he's right. A lot of guys in my generation just smoke, drink, and play video games all day. And if a war were to happen, maybe it would help with my generation's outlook on life. But of course, a war is nothing to be proud about or hope for. The question, would dating become how it used to be, even with social media, influence, etc.? Just asking for opinions. It's not like Reddit is gonna predict the future/be truly knowledgeable of the subject, myself included. This was reposted to Am I the Devil, and the top comment here is perfect. I think it just goes the is this person actually thinking? I don't even know where to start unpacking this, but have you ever tried to improve yourself without war? If you want to date girls, if you want to have more popularity with girls, you can study, you can improve, you can, do a lot of things to become more attractive. You don't need a war to kill off most of the young men so that you will get a chance to get laid. And also, I love how the OP is probably convinced that he would be one of the guys who survives the war and then kind of swoops in and takes all the pretty ladies. It's kind of like the people who like to fantasize about going back to the Middle Ages, and they're like, I wish I was born in the Middle Ages or like in the 18th century. And it's like somehow they're always princes and kings in and they're in Queens and they're living this lavish lifestyle, drinking champagne in their castles, but more often than not, you would probably end up being a peasant in a village and dying of plague. There's literally a man thinking that he can get better. And the best way to get that is if most of the attractive guys died in the war. Think about that. We came to this. There are people whose brains are able to produce absolute idiocy like this. And he also wrote it down and clicked publish. This is impressive. Let's see the next one. Am I wrong for finding comfort in my late wife's twin sister? My wife passed away in a horrific car accident 8 months ago, leaving myself and our 3-year-old daughter behind. I was far too depressed to do anything, much less care for my daughter properly, so my sister-in-law, her twin sister, essentially moved in to help out. While sobbing about my wife's death together, one thing led to another and we ended up having sex. After the first time, we both felt nauseated with guilt, but soon came to realize that it was helping both of us cope. She's so much like my wife that when I'm with her, I'm able to kind of forget what happened. It's temporary relief, but relief nonetheless. She grew to believe that she was doing a good thing by helping me cope and be a better father to my daughter. It's been a regular thing up until now. I feel obviously conflicted about it. No one can know what's going on as it might tear our family apart, but it's helped me not to kill myself, and I have been a much better father/member of society since we began. I don't know if I'm prepared to stop. Help me see things objectively. How is this? I mean, you're replacing your dead wife with her twin, who is a completely separate person. This is in itself. Also, your child is gonna grow up very confused about what's going on here and probably will hate you in the future for this. Also, it's been like 5 minutes since your wife died and you just started her twin. What's wrong with the twin? Also, I'm sorry, what type of sister is this that starts her dead sister's husband right after her death and also is convinced that she's doing something good? However you look at the situation, it's up. This gives me also straight out of a thriller vibes that, she will eventually just take her twin's persona and keep living with you, and in the end, just pretending it's her life. She basically took her dead sister's life and put it on herself like a sweatshirt, and it's just so creepy and disgusting. Like, why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? And how did you let this go this far? I mean, I obviously can't get the level of pain that you experience when losing your partner. It is devastating. It probably feels like your life is over, and finding comfort in something is precious at this time because you will give anything to feel a little bit better, but still, your wife's twin is a bit much when we're talking about comfort. So we have that. And then we have edit. I didn't specify that the first time we slept together was a month after her passing. Yes, it was very sick in hindsight, and we both regretted it deeply. It didn't happen again for another 2 months and then continuously until today. We both regretted it deeply, but continued to do it consistently. Cool. How are you missing this problem in here? I don't know. Anyway, there is also an update. I talked to my sister-in-law, which ended in us in bed together once again. Good job talking, hun. I don't think we can cut things off quite yet. It seems like majority of criticism is about how this will affect my daughter, which is very understandable. We've just decided to take better care to keep our relationship private for as long as possible until we're ready to move on. I don't think y'all will ever move on. It sounds like you found yourself a comfy blanket to forget about your wife's passing and to comfort yourself. And it also seems an awful lot like the sister doesn't mind once again moving in on her sister's life. So probably she will just keep this going, and even if you will find in yourself suddenly the strength to get detached from her, she might pull you back in because it doesn't doesn't seem that she actually wants to stop it. I mean, of course, we don't know enough information, but that's the vibe I'm getting, especially since you tried to talk to her and then y'all ended up back in bed together. I don't know who initiated this, but it's clear that you cannot stop it just yet. And I'm pretty sure the farther you go, the harder it's gonna be to stop. And then we have some of the comments which only convince me more of what I just said. The OP says, I'm afraid there may be love at this point. It's very intimate. Before we move on, I just want to read you one last comment. The idea that I'm disparaging her memory destroys me. I loved her with everything I had. I was extremely close to killing myself multiple times. This got 56 downvotes, and I also add mine on top of that because if the idea is actually destroying you, maybe stop her sister. Okay? Maybe just don't. Let's just move to the last story of today. Am I the asshole for calling the police on my boyfriend for locking me in the bathroom? I, female 20, and my boyfriend, male 27, have been together for 2 years. Besides this event, he really is so kind to me and so good. I've never even seen him like this. Basically, what happened was that I went out to a coffee shop to study with a few friends. I'm in university and we have our midterms this week. I was there from about 8 a.m. till noon on Sunday. Today's Thursday as I'm posting this. My roommate is one of the ones who I was studying with, and she's also my best friend. I let her know that I was gonna leave from studying to my boyfriend's. Well, when I got to my boyfriend's, he told me I smelled like coffee, my clothes and hair. I said, oh yeah, probably because again, I sat there for like 4 hours. He said he really couldn't stand the smell and he needed me to change. I was planning on spending the night, so I had clothes, but I really didn't want to change right then and there, which is not the hill to die on. I see that now. It started a kind of heated argument. I ended up snapping on him and telling to stop and leave me alone or else I'd leave. After me raising my voice, my boyfriend grabbed me by my shoulders and literally forced me into the bathroom. He locked me in there. I don't know how. I was banging on the door and he told me he wouldn't let me out until I washed my hair. I tried to get out for like 45 minutes, but he literally wouldn't let me. We were arguing through the door. Eventually, I just got in the shower, but even then, he wouldn't let me out. At this point, I was sobbing because I had a throbbing headache and I wanted out and was getting claustrophobic. He kept me in there for 3 hours. I was sitting down in my towel, sobbing and begging, and he just wouldn't let me out. Eventually, I realized I had my phone and called the police. I don't know why, I was just so desperate. I didn't want him to get in trouble, I just wanted close and out of the bathroom. The police showed up, my boyfriend let me out, and they talked to both of us for a long time. Obviously, nothing serious ended up happening, but my boyfriend has been pissed. He yelled at me so much when they left, asked me if I was an idiot and if I realized how much trouble we both could have gotten in. I told him he shouldn't have locked me in there then and that I was sorry, but not really. He hasn't accepted any of my apologies. Am I the asshole for this? I don't like throwing around the term psychopath, but this is absolutely psychopathic behavior. He didn't show you any compassion. He punished you for the smallest thing, and this was him trying to show you what happens when you disobey him. And this is 100% no doubt abuse. You have full right to refuse to wash your hair or change your clothes. Yes, he doesn't like the smell, but we are all humans with our choices. You could have said, no, sorry, hon, I will change in 10 minutes. And if he couldn't stand the smell, yes, he could get mad at you. He could go into a different room, but his reaction is definitely not something normal because he forced you into the bathroom and wouldn't let you out for 3 hours. Imagine what type of monster you have to be to listen to your girlfriend crying and begging for 3 hours and you just don't care. You just don't give a shit. I'm glad you called the police, even if nothing happened, he will think twice, hopefully, before doing that to anyone else in the future. And he clearly knows that what he's doing is wrong because he started yelling at you and being like, do you know how much trouble I could have been in? So he knows. He was just banking on the fact that you wouldn't call the police. Leave this man. I would get like a restraining order if you can against him because he is clearly dangerous and cray cray. We have elaboration on the police visit. Basically, I heard them come in, so I was like standing at the door. When I came out, they asked me if I was okay, and I said I just wanted to get dressed. They let me. I heard my boyfriend saying I locked myself in there. I came out and they asked both of us what happened. I said I was uncharacteristically mad because of an argument we had. The male cop looked at my boyfriend and like raised his eyebrows like, phew, what a mess. I just let my boyfriend lie after that because I was just so embarrassed and still had a throbbing headache. The female cop separated me to ask me if I was okay and safe. I said I was fine. It seemed like she was gonna do something until she found out we don't live together. That's when she asked me if I had BPD. I said no, and she suggested I go home. That's all. Interesting. Why would you ask a victim in the case, a victim that literally called you for help, if they have BPD? So it's like awfully close to this whole thing of, yeah, you're crazy, so nothing really happened. I mean, yes, probably it's because she said she was uncharacteristically mad, and I'm kind of disappointed in the OP that she downplayed it and didn't really tell the real story, let him lie, and just let it go. But I also get why she would do that, because often the victims of abuse are scared and they don't really want to get their abuser in trouble, which is paradoxic, but it is what it is. And I suppose that's what her reaction was, because she called the police and then kind of realized that this whole thing will have real consequences, and probably in that moment she was not ready to pursue this and to develop this into something that he deserves. But anyway, I'm very sad that he got away with it. Yet the question was, am I the asshole? And the answer is obviously no. Just imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine if he put a dirty plate on top of your term paper and kind of ruined it. Imagine locking him in a bathroom for 3 hours because of that. He would definitely call the police on you, and he would definitely make sure that you get consequences for that. So ditch the boyfriend, and please never think that you did something wrong in this situation. Okay, guys, this was the selection of the worst stories that I found, which were published in March. Let me know, please, in the comments what you thought. Don't forget to put the like down or click subscribe if you don't want to lose me. Thank you so much for watching, if you're still here, though I doubt it. And I will see you with the next video real soon. Bye!